What I needed to get the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get the car. I'll go fight my battles later.
Later. Okay.
Right. So that's what I'm gonna do. So the first person on my list is the dealer because I'm going after them. They put on the contract that I had traded in a what's it called? Hyundai, Hyundai.
Hyundai.
Yes, that one.
Hyundai.
Say I traded in a Hyundai. I've never owned a Hyundai in my life. Never
Oh,
owned one.
they just put one up on you. Okay.
Correct.
All
So
righty
now
then.
the contract is fraud from the beginning, but I wanted to leave with that Mercedes-Benz AMG GLE. I wasn't finna
Okay.
fight nobody. I
Yeah,
had to
yeah,
leave first. Let me
yeah.
leave with that Benz, and then I'm gonna go back and fight you
Fight
later.
later. Yeah.
I'm not gonna argue with you in there about a finance charge, and then you go look me up online and see what I do, and then you're like, you know what? I'm not even gonna stress it with you. No, I'm not showing my hands up front. I'm not.
Okay.
So that's how I operate. Everybody do their own thing, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the car, then I'm gonna go fight later.
Yeah. So in order for me to get that would be the dealership, right? Get my
So
down payment back. Because I
yeah,
mean,
there's a
we
down
was right
payment
across the
letter in the
street from where I
university.
live, so it ain't no delivery fee. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even know what that was for.
Wait,
It
say that
wasn't enough
again.
to change. The 695 that I paid, that
Mm-hmm.
didn't even that didn't put a dent in the car note at all. You understand what I'm saying? So I
Mm-hmm.
don't even know what that was for.
And
But they
that's the
said
other
this is what I
thing
had to put
too.
down.
So it's important that you find out if they charge you for fees. Remember, the finance charge is the sum of all charges.
Okay.
All charges, meaning your fees are
Fees
included
and
in the finance charge.
yeah.
You shouldn't pay any fee out of pocket. That is a fact, and I know that for a fact.
But yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I want. Gotcha. That's what I want
So
to know.
find the down payment letter and get that letter from the university, make your modifications, and then send it to the dealership.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. You've been
Awesome
very
sauce.
helpful tonight.
You're very welcome. Back to you, Shinte.
Okay, so next in line, we have Mr. Pierre Phillips. Over to you. Pierre, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Loud and
Okay.
clear.
All right. So this question is a two-part question. It has something more to do with like setting up a credit repair business. I'm a real estate broker here in Houston, Texas, and I want to start doing professional credit repair. So with
You
that
want to
being
open up
said,
a consultation business?
exactly. What licenses or certifications should I be aware of?
So each state is different, right?
Okay.
Some states require you to be licensed and bonded as a business owner, but I wouldn't go the route of a credit repair business. I would go the route of a financial consulting business or just a consulting or a document preparation business altogether, right? Why?
Okay.
Because of CROA, Credit Repair Organization Act. It is illegal. I'm going to say this again. It is illegal for you to charge upfront for credit repair. However, you can do credit repair for free, right? Now, how does this work? It simply means that you have a financial literacy or a consulting business or a document preparation business, right? And you charge for that. You're charging for the consultation or the financial literacy strategist or the document preparation. That's what you're charging for, but you're doing credit repair for free. So you are not charging for credit repair. They are not paying for credit repair. Credit repair is one of the services your company offers for free when anyone signs up with you.
Okay. Do you go over this part of the business during the 5-day challenge, or is this something?
Not in the challenge. That's something for the university.
Okay. All right. And
so
then I have
when you
one more
join,
question.
once you join the university, we'll be able to go more into it and different strategies and marketing strategies that you can use to get like hundreds of leads per month. Like it's a whole thing. It's like a whole thing.
Okay. All right. I guess my second question is probably for the university then. I don't know if I should ask it.
No, go ahead.
I'll
Go
ask
ahead.
it. All right. Basically, in your experience, what challenges or problems do you see with and I'm trying to think of the name, not to call it a credit repair business, but a document preparation business. What challenges do you see and for newbies?
All right.
And how? Yeah.
This is a good question. So most of the things that I'm seeing with new credit repair business owners or new consulting business owners is one, y'all don't know how to charge. And y'all think, not saying you, but people
Uh-huh.
think it's a race to the bottom where, oh, we're doing $46 credit repair and $10 a month. No, hell no. No.
Right.
No, we're not doing that. No. So you're not charging what you are worth. The information that you possess, less than 1% of the population knows this. That's number one. That puts you into a premium market category, right?
Mm.
You
Yeah.
have a coach, which is the best coach in the credit and consumer law game, right? So the information that you're learning is not only factual, you can pull it up yourself and you can explain it correctly to your clients. Now,
Okay.
joining the university, it gives you a unique ability where if you have issues with your clients, you can ask those on our mentorship calls. Not a
Okay.
lot of
Okay.
mentorships do this, right? So let's say, for example, you have a debt collection case
Okay.
and you're not aware that there's a new law that passed in November 30th, 2021, and you heard online some credit repair guru telling you to do a TransUnion sweep, or oh my God, I'm gonna talk about that TransUnion sweep. And
Okay.
and someone telling you to send out a GB letter. Well, GB letter was great before November 30th, 2021. It's not so great after. Why? Because the laws have updated and the laws have changed. So what you want to send out now is a notice for validations of debt and the new requirement under the law. You see what I'm saying? So now you can get tailored strategy for yourself, for your client, and it makes your process so much easier.
Gotcha. And more valuable.
Absolutely, because now you come off as an authority versus sending out letters and hoping that they hit. Most people don't know what goes into a round one. And as easy as debt collection is, there are many different round one letters for debt collection based on the interaction, and people just don't know it. They think everything you're supposed to just send a cease and desist letter. Well, what does that do? Next thing you're getting sued, then what? Not everything requires a cease and desist. You need to know when to properly employ a cease and desist. Like for an account that passes statute of limitation, it is absolutely perfect to send out a cease and desist for that. But these are the things that you must know. What else you got for me?
Okay. All right. Now I'm processing what you just said. So it sounds like, and I'm already sold already. I need to sign up for the university too.
Yes, you need to. DM boss lady, HP, she's a co-host. She'll be able to send you the link. Haiti, let's take care of Mr. Phillips for me. I got you, Mr. Phillips. I got you, bro.
All right. Thank you.
And we haven't even gone into the lawsuit part of it yet, because that part is wild. Anyway.
Right. Okay.
Back to you, Shant. You have anything else for me, Mr. Phillips?
Not right now.
All right, cool. Back to you, Shante.
Great questions. Okay, next in line, we have April Tate.
April, my favorite month.
Hello. How are you, Daraine?
I am doing absolutely amazing. How are you?
Pretty good. Hello, Shantae, your team, and everyone else. For starters, my question, Daraine, for the personal information letter, didn't we have a new one updated with the case law?
I'm going over that tonight.
You are? Because I was looking for that letter, and I've been looking for it all weekend. I'm like, I thought we had it loaded with the new. Okay, if you're going over it tonight, that's fine.
Yeah, so there is a new one. It wasn't in the university yet. It was in the connoisseur program. It was made in the connoisseur program. It's just about to come over to the university. So that program, that letter was built. It's a beast. That letter is like Hulk. It's like Hulk in the gym. It's like badass, like so badass. You want to know how I know? Because when I sent it in, I did not get a rebuttal from any of them. They deleted everything that I asked for. And if I'm not mistaken, there was there was a few of the students in the connoisseur program that used, I think only one person had a kickback. Karen, who had a kickback with the personal information letter? Did anyone get a kickback with the personal
on the connoisseur side with us?
Yeah.
No, it was in the CLSU. But that was
Okay.
that was with the previous letter.
The previous letter, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, this one is a whole beast because it's structured a different way. And what it asks for and the case law that's in there, it just it's like a slam. It's like
Okay, then I'll wait
that
on
one was a
that.
beast.
Okay, now my next question, I have another one if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
My next question is, I'm getting ready to send in my request for my down payment to the dealer. And in that letter, who do we address? I know it's going to the dealership to begin with, but who do we address it to in the dealership?
So you
should it
could
be the
do
finance
to whom
company
it may
or?
concern, or you can do the finance manager, or if you know a person, if you know the finance manager's name, you could address it to them.